Um, I happen to note in a discussion paper that was released by the Malawian authorities, and I think you know what I'm going to talk about here, Minister, that EPA, and this is a Malawian authority paper, would bring improved market access for all Malawian products, an increase in exports, strengthened regional cooperation, a regional framework which would attract more investment from the EU. And even on the famous loss of customs revenue, which is an issue which I know has been playing on people's minds, the paper indicated that the long-term benefits of the tariff reduction far outweigh the adjustment costs. Now, all in all, I would say that we have shared a very common set of objectives and goals with regard to the EPA. In other words, that we believe that it should be good for the development of Malawi, for the region, for regional integration, for the insertion of Malawi and the region into the world economy. So I think there's really little in controversy over this. Now, there are plenty of issues which are out there which have prevented us making progress. Certainly, so far, Malawi has not yet presented its market access offer, which we see as being a first step towards being able to make further progress in this. And therefore, Malawi has not initialed nor signed any EPA. And that, I really do underline, is a position we fully respect, Minister. There is no question that the EU wishes to come here and either force or in any way push hard on an EPA. On the other hand, we think it's a pity that some of the issues that could be addressed properly within a partnership are not in the future able to be addressed unless we do that properly. So that's where the economic partnership has some advantages as far as we're concerned. Now, in the meantime, in terms of just pure trade, obviously Malawi benefits from something called the Everything But Arms Initiative. And this Everything But Arms Initiative gives duty-free, quota-free access for Malawian products into the EU market. And I see no question mark over the continuation of that, so there are no threats with regard to that. And if anything, in the future I would expect even better rules of origin on that, so that there are even improvements down that end. But it is not an economic and development partnership, and therefore it is not a relationship. It is purely a market access arrangement. By the way, rather similar to the one that we've had for something like 30 years under the ACP arrangements that preceded it, and which, frankly, failed us. They didn't provide the diversification. They didn't provide the basis to resolve problems together. And as a result, one of the reasons why we went through the creation of an economic partnership agreement was to get beyond that. So, although the EBA, the famous Everything But Arms initiative, is something that I think is useful and can help, it is not in and of itself going to be the long-term to the long-term benefit of Malawi in the sense that it would be able to diversify. At least that's not what experience has shown. So we nevertheless remain open to the discussions that we've been having. And my sense is that because we have been discussing this for the best part of 7 or 8 years, fatigue is setting in within Africa, within Europe, and therefore, although we clearly wish to maintain and have a good relationship with Malawi, with the ESA region, at some point there will be a timeout, I'm sure, on this, because unless we actively make progress, I think that at some point everybody has to draw a line and say, let's take a breath here. Certainly there are other priorities for the EU, and obviously we will need to address those, and the only way that I see that we can make the progress is after this useful and very helpful seminar, is perhaps see Malawi make up its mind, which it's free choice, and certainly not for me to say what it should be, but if it does decide to move forward, to put a draft market access offer on the table, where we would explore together how that could, in and of itself, provide the development that you're looking for, while avoiding the risks that are associated, for example, to industry or to revenue losses that we all are careful about. So if we can work on that basis, we stand ready to continue the discussions with you, Minister, and we very much look forward to hearing what you have to say in the months ahead. I will stop there with my opening remarks and be happy to take questions on the Minister.
I would also like to say a few words as opening remarks. First, I would like to sincerely thank Mr. Peter Thompson, the Director of Trade in the Directorate of Trade of the EU, or EC rather, for coming out himself personally and his group to be present at this information seminar. We have learned a lot from his expertise, and we have learned a lot from the expertise of the experts who came to this seminar. And in terms of the objectives of the seminar, fully achieved. And I think all of us are better informed, including our EU partners, because we've also heard from our side what our concerns are. On the issue that Mr. Thompson has raised, which is why is it that Malawi has not yet put a market access offer on the table? The answer is that we want to move cautiously on the basis of the negative experiences we've had with electoralization in the past. And because of that, we would like to be very sure that when we take a move forward, it is indeed beneficial to us. It indeed achieves the objectives that both of us agree are mutual objectives, which are objectives of development for Malawi, which are objectives of developing the trade platform for Malawi, objectives of creating jobs for our people. So these are indeed mutual objectives. These are objectives that could be achieved under EPA2, but we want to be very sure, hence the caution. But I would like to assure our colleagues from the EU that we are looking at these issues and we are moving forward, and we do hope that after due internal consultations, we will come to the EU with some specific offers and to discuss. And we do hope that at that time, the EU will give a good hearing to our proposals, and that there will be some flexibility on the outstanding issues, which are real issues to us.
Honourable Minister and the Director General, I'm Thomas Jafunya from the MBC TV services. Two questions. One to the Director General. In your statements throughout from yesterday to today, one gets a feeling that there is actually fatigue creeping in from the EU side and as well as Malawi government side. Probably Malawi government side is waiting for the proposal, for the answer and the indication from the EU, from the proposal that they made, what would be the mitigating measures that EU can provide in terms of make sure that the little damage which is going to be made, or the huge damage is going to be made on the industries in the Malawi, in the country, are actually cushioned. However, on the other hand, we see that on the EU side, there is a little bit of panic. I'm sorry to use that word. What was the EU's envisage time frame to have fully fledged program with the ACP countries? Because what we've seen is that EU is actually, you coming into Malawi probably sends some panic buttons all over that the people who used to come here probably you still need a larger high profile representative to come and talk with the Malawi government officials. To the Minister, don't you think, Honourable Minister, Malawi not signing this agreement and everybody else in ESA probably, maybe around us as a country signing, then we are under a threat of being exposed to